the fact that we were finding these skulls all over, and we were like, hey, what are these giant, huge skulls with twice the brain cavity of a normal human? Well, they've got to be aliens. Nefertiti's was one of them, and Nefertiti's had 6 daughters in Egyptology, and they all were projected and drawn in that way with these elongated cone heads. That's why Egyptians wear those funny hats to kind of disguise whether they were one of those beings with those weird elongated cone heads. Again, those were descendants of Nephilim. And Nefertiti's, and ironic, you can look at her name, it's Nefertiti's, which Neph in Egypt means beautiful one, but you got to think, where did the term beautiful one come from? And all of the beings, all the people in Egyptology that have these weird cone head things have the words Neph, like Nefertum, Nefer-Oskep. Like, these are all different Egyptian rulers and names that all possess the word Neph in their name, and ironically have this elongated cone looking head, which ties into, again, mixing of genetics, again, which is also in Egypt. So that's my perception on reptilians.
It is clearly seen in many hieroglyphics of various cultures that humanoid creatures, some human and some part animal, are depicted. At times, they are even larger in stature. Were our ancient ancestors experimenting with genetics from technology given to us by the Nephilim? Or were the Nephilim exploring genetic and DNA splicing on humans and animals? While some believe that these reptilian beings are extraterrestrial in nature, others are more convinced that they are interdimensional or extra-dimensional creatures and can manifest themselves in various different realms beyond what humans can recognize.
When I say extra-dimensional being, I'm referring to something that is sort of like the being that I saw when I was a child. I saw this glowing being. I kind of shared that story, but that glowing being was able to manifest into a physical world and then boom, in a second vaporized. So when we say extra-dimensional being, what I mean is, like, there is a realm, again, there's colors and there is light and there is sound that we are not able to perceive. There is the mantis shrimp, I believe it is. There's a shrimp that actually can see a broader spectrum of colors. There's a lot of colors and light and things going on around us. And when I say extra-dimensional, what I mean is it is something that exists in the color spectrum, the light spectrum, and the sound spectrum to which we don't naturally perceive. It's almost like there is an overlaying world on top of our world that these beings can go from this realm into this realm, into this realm, and they can kind of, it like overlays Earth, but it's a different realm and it's perceived on different levels.
Some theorists believe that people with mental illness, such as schizophrenia or paranoia, who see or hear things, may be channeling or tuning into another dimension, or possibly light or sound waves, due to a chemical imbalance that unaffected persons don't perceive because of normal brain function.
And in fact, when we talk about perception on different levels, this is a very interesting fact about Tesla. Tesla is one of the earliest inventors of the radio. And I don't know if you know this, but when Tesla created the radio, the first thing he started to notice was he was hearing voices coming through the radio, which is mind-blowing because no one else had a radio. And he said specifically, these voices sounded like humans talking in a language he did not understand. Now, take that for what you will. I mean, the guy's pretty brilliant. You can look at the stuff that he says. I don't think he was crazy per se, but you gotta wonder, what did he mean by that? In fact, this drove him so mad that he wanted to build the biggest radio ever to pick up on all of the voices that he was hearing. So they did this. They built this giant radio tower that they started working on, that eventually he died before they finished it, but they canceled the project when they found out the reason why he wanted to build the tower was because he wanted to hear and listen to the voices that he was getting from his radio device, which is valid. Like, I mean, the man said he was hearing voices. Now, my theory personally is that he might have been able to decode some of these voices, and what these voices might actually have been were the angels, the Nephilim spirits speaking on that frequency that humans just didn't pick up on. And he happened to create a device that was able to pick up the frequencies and was able to listen in on what these beings were saying. And in fact, there is a famous person, I believe that it was called The Conjuring of Ra. She was a medium, famous medium, that did a whole interview process with some individuals talking about conjuring this spirit, Ra. Ironically, Ra happens to be, again, one of the Egyptian gods. In conjuring this spirit Ra, the spirit even says a misnomer and tries to play off that Tesla was one of them. And so the woman doing the conjuring through Ra says that Tesla was one of the spiritual entities that were aliens, that were superpowers, that created the world. And Tesla was reborn as a human to advance society, and his memory was taken away when he was reborn as a human. And so that's why he knew all those things that he knew. When the reality is, I think he might have been picking up on the angels' language and decoded some of it and created some of the devices he actually made. That was from over listening to the voices that he was hearing on the radio. So, very interesting, strange fact people don't know about.
Similar to what some believe is Tesla receiving his knowledge from a supernatural source, advocates say the Nazis were also given intelligence on advanced technologies because of their nefarious fascination with demonic and occult practices. It is also said that Jack Parsons, an American rocket engineer, chemist, and known cultist, was given the technology for the first rocket engine by a demonic entity, which was most likely a Nephilim being.